to The Back Cover, the podcast that explores the classic soul music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm Karen Williams. Join me and my co-host Steve Williams, no, we're not related, as we flip over the album covers and share stories of the movers and shakers that created, wrote, and produced those iconic sounds. We'll educate and entertain you, all while keeping the music alive. Happy holidays, everyone. I hope that you are going to have a joyous and happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry and Happy Kwanzaa. And if you're celebrating another holiday during this time of year, I hope that it's joyous and happy also. In this podcast episode, we salute two icons of soul music, Mr. Sam Cooke and Mr. Otis Redding. We also talked to the executive director of the Stax Museum, Mr. Philip Kollath, in Memphis, Tennessee. And of course, we also throw in some other conversation. We hope you enjoy this podcast, and please stay safe, wash your hands, social distance, and wear a mask.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff is the executive administrator.
Director. Steve.
Whatever, same and the same. At Stax Museum of American Soul History. Now, Jeff, you're talking to a person that's been there at least 5 times.
Well, good. Thank you for that. We appreciate the business.
Oh, no problem. I'm still, y'all won't let me in the Cadillac, man. I stood by it. Good thing my back is kind of wacky because I can't get over the little gate. You know, I need to take a ride in that Caddy. You know, my father had the same kind of car, different color.
Sure.
He had the Superfly headlights and everything, but they weren't gold. Yeah, they were chrome. And he didn't have no fur in it. I'm thinking you and I are probably the same age. So we're
He's younger than you, Steve.
He couldn't be too much younger.
What year did you graduate high school, Jack?
I graduated high school in 1996.
Told you.
He's
Steve
younger. Yeah.
Way younger.
Way. Yeah. Now, Jeff, we talk about Stax all the time.
Sure.
At least I do, because it's one of my favorite record companies. I had the pleasure of working for a record company in the South, and Malico Records down the street from y'all. Yeah. Malico picked up the mantle of Southern Soul when Stax went out. They
had Johnny Taylor and I think Eddie Floyd and William Bell did some stuff at Malico.
Yes,
Johnny
they did
for sure. So
yeah,
we love Malico because Malico was really the only company that kind of stayed true to Southern Soul and didn't venture off into disco and some of that other stuff. They knew their audience and stuck with it. So
they bought the audience. I mean, because when the original label Stax folded, they picked up Johnny. Yeah. No, Johnny left Stax. He went to Columbia, Beverly Glen, and then he landed at Stax because they could afford him then. But a lot of people don't realize how important Stax was right there on College and Macklemore. Now, my brother, how did you get that job? Who do you know that I need to know?
Well, I have a background in museum work. I did my master's work on actually soul music and civil rights in Indianapolis.
In
just
Indy.
Down the street from you guys.
Not right down the street, but
worked in museums for a long time, and just grew up a record nerd and built a pretty good collection, and just really found an affinity for Southern soul music, and was able to worked at a couple different museums, worked for the University of Wisconsin before I came here, and I have a really strong background in public programming and community work, and using music to educate, which I had done at the other museums I worked for, and obviously here that's a pretty easy thing to do because we're surrounded by music all the time. And,
right.
Now let me ask you: do you know my friend Portia Maltzby?
I do. Yes, I do know.
She was my professor.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I was in Soul Review. Now, I did not perform. I have no talent that way. But I was a stage manager in Portia.
We've had a number of IU Soul Review alumni work here at the Stax Music Academy over the years. And
right.
I think we still have one. I think we still have one on staff.
Oh, okay, that's good.
But for a number of years, we had 4 or 5. An amazing program that they put together there at IU.
Right. So, what kind of exhibits? Because I've never been to the museum. And don't say anything, Steve.
Oh God!
Let Jeff tell the story.
Let me give you one compliment, though, Jeff, before you say anything. I've been to a lot of museums, and I got to tell you, I felt more at home at Stax because they did not follow me around the museum.
What museum have you been to?
Wait, let me explain.
Okay.
They let you take pictures.
Okay.
They're very friendly.
Okay.
And you can walk as long as you want. Now, because I've been to that museum up north.
Which one?
Hitsville.
Oh, okay.
You
Detroit.
can't take pictures there because of copyright and all this other stuff.
Okay.
But when I walked into Stax, I think I told the guy that day, I felt at home, man. And to have worked with Johnny Taylor and Little Milton and a few of those guys at Malaco, it gave me a closer feeling to because Johnny and Stax more or less kind of coined the phrase Southern Soul because of Motown being in the North and Stax being in the South.
Yeah, Southern Soul was the nice term for it. Others called it Bama music, which was always the derogatory term for Southern Soul because it wasn't as refined as that music.
Exactly. Because to let Rufus Thomas tell it, it was just unwashed underarm funk. That's exactly how he, it's 2 things that'll get me excited about Memphis. Number 1, Stax, and number 2, I would definitely, and believe me, it ain't the barbecue. I've had the barbecue. Number 2 would definitely be all the other museums in Memphis.
So will you let Jeff talk now?
Please, Jeff, tell her before she busts.
Us what is in the museum.
What ain't?
Sure. Well, we have a lot in the museum. I'll start with the car since Mr. Williams brought that up originally. So we've got Isaac Hayes's 1972 Cadillac Eldorado, custom peacock blue, 24 karat gold, gold trim, including the Superfly headlight covers. He had a black one before that had the Superfly headlight covers, but they weren't gold.
Right.
And so had everything's custom, thick white shag upholstery, which certainly would not work well in the North with all that snow and slush that we get up there.
Right.
And TV in the front seat, refrigerator in the back for your beverages and whatnot.
Yeah.
Custom interior, vinyl or peacock blue vinyl top. It's really it's an amazing car. And so Isaac got that after he had won the Oscar for a theme from Shaft. And so he renegotiated his contract with Stax, and the car was part of the deal. And so it was $28,000 in 1972.
Which is still a lot of money.
Not cheap. No, that's good. That's a good price for a car.
Yeah.
Now it was insured by Lloyd's and Taylor, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of the cool things about the car is we get a lot of folks that came up here in Memphis that remember him driving the car around and remember seeing the car in the street and seeing it parked here at Stax. And we've got some great photos of him with people, standing around the car looking at it and such. And, stories about, we always kids of some of the musicians and employees that worked here. Isaac used to pick them up from school in the car and that kind of thing. So it actually, when Isaac, like a lot of artists after Stax closed, fell on hard times and declared bankruptcy, and the car actually went up for bankruptcy auction, but it was actually picked up and bought and driven around by some other folks here in the city. And so when the museum became a thing in 2000, and we opened in 2003, the very first artifact they purchased was the car. So
wow.
So that's cool. The museum starts off with about a 17-minute introductory film, and after the film, you walk out and you walk into an AME Episcopal church that was actually down from the Mississippi Delta.
Is right.
Built in 1906. It was the home church of Deanie Parker, our founding CEO and one of the early employees and recording artists here at Stax. And she's still with us and supporting us yet today. And
Wait a minute,
it's really,
the whole
shows
church?
sort of the
It's not the whole church.
Yeah, it's so small. They just
it's a tiny little church.
Tiny little church.
Okay.
Yeah.
They rebuilt it inside of the building.
Okay. Okay.
And so it you walk through and you learn about the gospel roots of soul music and so on. And so we've got recording equipment. We have the very first tape recorder that Jim Stewart made a record on in 1957, all the way up through, mixing consoles and fancy recorders that they used in the early 1970s, records, guitars. We have instruments from all the members of Booker T and the MGs.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Including the
organ.
The Hammond M3 organ that Booker used on Green Onions, and a drum set from Al Jackson Jr., and of course guitar from Steve Cropper, bass from Duck Dunn. And then, again, I always come back to Isaac because of the car, but also our collection of Isaac Hayes memorabilia is pretty incredible.
Do you have his chain shirt that he wore?
Yes, the chains. The chains are the sort of the holy grail.
They are. Aren't they?
Because it is the source of wives' tales and innuendo and so on. So they have yet to be found.
Oh, really?
So they're
missing?
They are missing. The story that I heard when I got here was that they ended up with, there was a producer here that Isaac was close with, and this producer, he passed away at a young age. And the last that we heard, they were hanging on his mother's lampshade in her sitting room.
That must be one strong lampshade.
So yeah,
that's big ass chains, man. Them were chains used to pull a car.
Yeah, so that's the last we've heard of those. But because one of the things that happened with Isaac, because he had that bankruptcy auction, so much of his stuff
was auctioned out.
Got spread around the country. Yeah. So
even his bracelet that had he had either a bracelet or a ring that was a piano.
Yeah.
And that got in. It was terrible, man. They stripped the poor man down to almost nothing. I don't think they took the Oscar though, did they?
No, the family. We have that here. We have that on loan from the family.
That's good.
One of the things that has come into our possession over the last couple of years is actually Isaac's office desk, which is a custom-built sort of curved white Formica top with tufted red velvet base for it, and then a high-backed tufted red leather chair with white piping. It had a whole bunch of other pieces with it. That was all custom designed and made here in Memphis. And that was actually found in a vintage clothing store in Nashville before the business was going to, or sorry, in somebody's house that had planned on turning it into a vintage clothing store, and they had the ladies that owned it had sold the house and were getting ready to move, and somebody had gone in to look at their stock of vintage clothes, saw the desk, and found out it was going to get destroyed, and saved it from destruction and got it to us. So,
that's
good. Now here's a question for you: is Stella or Jim still living?
So Ms. Axon passed away in 2004.
Okay.
She was born in 1918, so she was quite a bit older than Mr. Stewart. Mr. Stewart's still alive. He turned 90 in end of July. And still lives up in Bartlett, up on the north side of town. His wife Evelyn passed away this year.
Oh man!
But he's still, I mean, as far as I know, still doing all right. So
you know who we want to be connected with? We want to talk to the man.
Who?
The only man. Who? Al Bell.
Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell is still around. He's still holding down court in Little Rock, and he had a big birthday this year too. He turned 80, so he's still doing well. Has his I think he still has his internet radio show.
I gotta talk to Al, man. You gotta text us Al's number, man, or something.
I'll put you in touch with his assistant.
But this city, Memphis, they are full of museums, and they're all basically, other than the Lorraine, is record stuff. I mean, the only museum that does not exist, and Jeff could attest to that, there's no museum for High Records. They tore the building down, and that was it.
No, well, High's still there. It's they're still an operating studio, so they've.
Are you kidding?
Oh yeah, they're still over there on Lauderdale. It's now Willie Mitchell Boulevard, but yeah, they're still there. They probably have a session tonight. So.
When I come back to Memphis now, I got to visit because I thought High had been demolished like the original Stax studio. But you'd be surprised though. All of them started from movie theaters.
Yeah. Royal's an old theater too. So yeah, they the American studios up on the north side of town, where Chips Moman was, where Elvis and Dusty Springfield and Joe Tex and others did some stuff. That studio's long gone. They tore that one down. But Royal's still there. They've been Boo Mitchell, which is Willie's son, and then of course his mom and aunt and the family's sons are involved in the business now. And so they do, they still have a lot of the original guys, the two surviving Hodges brothers, Reverend Charles and Leroy, and Steve Potts plays drums on some things, and they've got a good crew over there. So
what about Willie Hall? Does Willie do anything?
Willie's still around. He does some things. Yeah, he played on the they redid that Dolomite movie.
Who you think you're talking to, man? Who you think you're talking to, man?
Well, anyway, they did that soundtrack here in Memphis, so that's. Okay.
I like this guy. See, when our one of our dreams after all of this is over with
the corona we're talking about.
I'm going to drive this woman that has never been further south than Indianapolis.
No, I've been Memphis. A little bit further. I have been to Tennessee, but I went to another part.
Jeff,
this is what we want to do. See, I roped you in, Jeff, because what we want to do is we want to be able to do a live remote of our show from Stax Museum.
We can probably arrange for something like that.
Well, you the man.
You can say, all you have to do is snap your fingers, Jeff, and say, my people are coming down from Indiana, and they're going to do a live remote. Jeff, you got to use your power, man.
Listen, I have two shirts that I wear quite frequently in the summertime.
He does.
I have the black finger pop, and I have the yellow finger pop.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, you wearing your Stax stuff today? I said, I have to. See, if I put Motown stuff on, I have to put on some Stax stuff. See?
And I have a chest record. I got a chest T-shirt.
And see, that's what our station here, WTSS, is all about. Keeping the music alive. So you're welcome to call us at any time.
Like if you got stuff going on down there,
let us know.
Let us know. Right. We before the Rona took over last year. Well, it's a long story, but we were gonna have
Jeff,
a busload.
She ain't never been no further south.
We were gonna have a busload of people do the music.
See,
tour.
I grew up in Alabama, so I know about the Stax place. Like I say, and I'm used to being there every year for the Southern Heritage Classic between Jackson State and Tennessee State. Yeah,
that was a bummer we couldn't do that.
The only museum I have never gone into, I've seen the insides, but I've never gone in because I think it's a little expensive, would be Sun Records.
Yeah.
I've never been inside of the Johnny Cashville or Elvisville.
Yeah, so we were going to do all of that.
Sun's great. Sun is
great.
Yeah, I mean, it's hallowed ground. I mean, they have the one thing we don't, which is they've got the original building. You can go into the, literally stand on the X on the floor where Elvis sang. And so that's cool. I mean, the power of place is real, and that is, and they have awesome tour guides. A lot of them are gigging musicians here in Memphis who love telling stories, and you can make a record there too. So, that's one of the coolest things about Memphis is if you want to make a record, you can make a record with the people that made them back in the day.
Sing. But to me, the most exciting thing is the Peabody and the ducks coming out of the elevator. I can never get too old and like that. I love that.
Oh,
the ducks are fun.
The ducks are fun. Man, I thank you. We thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely, anytime. Thanks for reaching out.
All right, I'm going to email you, and we're going to do...
She needs a shirt, Jeff.
No, I don't need a shirt.
Jeff,
I have
find one that you use in the back to kind of dust with. She's about a 2X.
Whoa, not a 2X.
You want it to fit.
Oh, so I got to be big.
Jeff, she needs a shirt. Jeff.
No, I don't.
Jeff.
All right, Jeff. Thank you so much for accommodating
so much,
us.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care, my man.
Yep, bye now.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, David Bailey joining the Air Force here at WTSS. And we say thank you and welcome, my brother.
Can I say one thing real quick? While you're doing Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke and my mom, they went to high school together. His family and my mom's family
Wendell
grew
Phillips
up in
High School.
Right, and they grew up in Madden, Ida B. Wells homes when they first built them.
See what I mean?
And today happens to be her birthday, the same day as Sam was killed.
I saw you. I saw you post that. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was a big fan of Sam Cooke. Her and her sister. Sam they were good friends of the family.
But Sam Cooke, oh my goodness, and they talking with my uncle, who's 82 now. He said, man, that guy would come to church with the Soul Stirrers, and they would walk down the aisles and start singing. Now the Soul Stirrers were in their 40s when he was a mere older teenager.
Okay.
And the girls would go crazy in church.
Well, I told you what Aretha said.
Aretha said he was a prince of a man.
She was 13. She said she remembered when she first saw Sam Cooke. She was like 13. And she said this man came walking down the aisle. They had on baby blue suits.
Uh-huh.
She said he was the prettiest man she had ever seen.
She said if Reb CL would have known, he would have been near, oh my God, to thee. Which was the first song Sam wrote for the Soul Stirrers, because he replaced Mr. Reaper H. Harris. And he replaced Mr. Harris, but Mr. Harris sort of also recommended him because he sounded so much like the man.
Right.
Right. And the junior group of the Soul Stirrers were the Highway QCs. Now, this other gentleman we're getting ready to talk about, 6'5".
He was that big?
He was tall. 6'5", close to 230, 40 pounds, somewhere over there. Chocolate. Country boy.
And them women went crazy over Otis Redding, man.
Out of Macon, Georgia. And he got his start. He was helping the Pine Toppers, who came by, were going to Stax Records to record their first song. They were a country group. And he was their driver and their handyman, so to speak. So he saw Booker T in the lobby. He said, hey, y'all make records here? He said, yeah, we make records. He said, I got a record that I wrote. I want to sing it. He said, really? He said, well, tell you what, give me about an hour to work with these guys. Then he told Jim Stewart, who was the owner at the time, he said, this guy wanted to record. He said, well, record him. And people till this day still visit the big old ranch where his wife lives, and he's entombed there.
Okay. She's still living?
Yes. They have a foundation called the Otis Redding Foundation. And back in the 80s, late 80s and early 90s, his sons were recording.
I remember.
Yeah, they were looked just like him.
Yeah, I did. I saw him.
And his daughter, Carla, hint, runs the foundation. The immortal Sam Cooke. I would have my friend Didi text me and say, you should have played what I should have played. See, this is Sam's day, and this is Otis's day. This ain't Aretha's day, and this ain't Bobby Womack's day.
I was just saying, you should compare the two.
I wasn't trying to, I didn't mean that to you. We ain't trying to compare the two. What I am doing, ladies and gentlemen that don't know, we are giving you the original hits, not the remakes. You understand? Because my friend Caroline was just talking to me. She said, Smooth, you giving all that great information out, all that great history. Yes, that's who I am. I'm Mr. Historian. Don't ever tell me something you don't want me to remember.
To prove it, he's all dusty and got cobwebs all over.
Where? I took a bath last night. Where?
It's old.
See? Ain't nothing wrong with being old, y'all. Ain't that, because see, I know a lot of folks didn't make it to be old.
Well, that's true.
And don't y'all go hopping on Bobby Womack because we playing Sam Cooke's music, okay?
Well, you know how I feel about that situation.
I don't care what you say.
I'm still saying
the man was gone.
It was wrong. Married that woman a month after that man was dead.
She had something to do with it too.
And she was wrong too.
How? Why?
They was wrong.
Why?
Sam hadn't even been dead a month.
If you had a husband, I say again, if you had a husband and we drop you in the ground, he gonna be married in 10.10 days. Got that? Because you would have worried him to damn death. All right. We have enjoyed bringing this show to you this afternoon. Hopefully somebody was touched some kind of way. Memories.
Wait a minute.
No.
Clean that up.
Leave that. No.
No.
I mean, your heart and your soul.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because memories are there to be, I hear people talking about, I was sad because such and such passed on that day. Mm-hmm. The way I deal with things like that, I try to think of happy thoughts of those people. That's I myself never saw my mother's face. I was a baby, didn't know.
Right.
But yet I still feel as though she has never left my side. So, but thank you guys for it. We hope you enjoyed the show. And Macon, Georgia, they never forgot their gentle giant. They celebrate him every year. And right along with Little Richard, they celebrate him too. And Augusta, Georgia, which is right down the highway, always celebrates their native son, James Brown, as well.
And they named a street in Chicago after Sam Cooke.
They sure did. It's down on 35th and Cottage Grove.
Right.
It's Sam Cooke Way. It's Albertina and the Caravans Way, and a few other streets down in that area. That is what we call sacred ground. Mm-hmm. I hope I did a good job by giving you this music. It's something I've been collecting forever. So anyway, on behalf.
And so now your next collection is going to be what, Stephen?
It's going to happen. The great gospel
quartets. Now, y'all heard that. I've been trying to get Steve to do this for 2 years.
You know why? I have no excuse. But the thing is, when I put all of that music together and I listen to it, I get choked up. Because I was raised up with my great-grandmother listening to all that, and it makes me think of her. And I'm going to do my best to make that show happen. I want to take the time to say thank you to all of the postal people, the shipping people, especially our frontline workers, like all of the nurses and doctors and all those folks.
Thanks for listening to The Back Cover. You can catch The Back Cover on TuneIn, Stitcher, and MyTuner. You can also listen to our show, The Ride Home, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Central Standard Time on www.thesoundofsoul.net. Please have your friends and family like and subscribe to our podcast.
Happy holidays from WTSS, The Sound of Soul.